country or the backed on use of so many agrochemicals. And as we speak now, China happens to be the leading user of agrochemicals. We're talking about over something like 1.8 billion liters of agrochemicals they use annually, which is really big. But I want to discuss, how does these agrochemicals impact on our health? There's so many agrochemicals can do as fertilizers, and so many things. You're talking about many pesticides, you're talking about herbicides, you're talking about so many things. But how do they impact our lives? Is it a threat or is not a threat? Now, Dr. Kabanda is in the house and he's going to dive us into this world and open our eyes and bring to our attention what we must do. There's so many people, when they go to market, they just buy a fruit and they feast on it. They buy a vegetable and they feast on it without washing. Is their life in danger or not? Dr. Kabanda, you're very welcome on the Health Morning.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Doctor, we begin from agrochemicals. What are agrochemicals, and how impactful, positive or negative, are they to our human health?
I want always to go back from where the world was established from.
Yes.
And I always want to get where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, that's around 7,500 years ago, man used to live a very different kind of life.
Mm-hmm.
Farming was not something man used to live on. We usually were on hunting, and accidentally man involved or innovated farming. Man used to go gather fruits from the forests and eat them. So after some particular time, man realized that after eating food, he threw around seeds and they grew into crops or plants. And hey, he said, now I think I don't need to go to the forest. I need to begin to do farming where I can have my own food prepared around my household. And in doing that, it invested it more harm, bringing more attention to insecticides, to insects, to pests, because now food was gathered into one particular area. So it was very easy for pests and insects to emerge in a particular place. So after a long period of time, man realized that he had a problem of weeds, he has a problem of insects, he has a problem of nematodes, he has a problem of fungi. So he decides to find a solution of what he can do for that. And in earlier days of man evolving into farming, it wasn't really big farming on a large scale. It was for family use, just consumption at home before it became modernized into business. So by then, man could not use a lot of insecticides for him. Mm-hmm. And some of the insecticides that were used those days, smoking was part of them. Mm-hmm. So if insects came into someone's farm, he could just get smoke and smoke the insects out of the farm.
Which was better.
Which was better option. Yeah, insects are just out of the farm. But as time went on, man wanted to invest more into production of more food as the population was growing. So he had to also become innovative on how we can do things. So the first insecticides produced by then, for example, in China, they used to use mercury, they used to use sulfur, before they invented into using components of phosphorus, components of potassium, components of sulfur to produce these insecticides to be used. Mm-hmm. And as man evolved himself in making himself easier to produce food, because hunting wasn't a source of food, now man had to go on to farming. So man now had to evolve into more things of how to do things. Now farming is two-sided. We have the plant husbandry, and then we have the animal husbandry, and all this has been affecting. So when we talk about the agrochemicals, we use them as well in animal husbandry, we use them also in plant husbandry. Mm-hmm. So in animal husbandry, we use the acaricides to make sure we don't have ticks affecting our animals, deworming, all this sort, because now we are doing farming at a large scale. And this is how man has evolved into this. Now, during the 19th century, man wants to evolve more in bigger business now. And we are now doing planting on very large scale. So we want to have mass production for business, and man wants to involve himself in a lot of feeding. So man now has to evolve into bigger. That's why I have also mechanization of farming. We are using machinery to produce food, but there were living organisms that have ever existed in a soil before, or other plants, like the herbicides have already existed in the soil for years. We have had the insects live along for years. So now we need to now compete with them. As they want to survive, also need to survive, but we want to business. So how can we eradicate the herbs? How can we take away the fungi? How can we eradicate the insects so that we may only have our crops and our crops grow at a faster rate? And where I have most of my fears is in the GMOs, where we are using genetically engineered now foods, make sure foods are growing at a very specific time so that we can eat them. It is also becoming something very, very horrible, which is going to affect the human life with time. I had a friend of mine who was in South Africa. He told me something which shocked my head. He told me they can grow spinach within 3 days.
What?
They can do cabbages within 2-3 days, 7 days. They are harvesting.
Those are the genetically modified.
Yes.
Because the indigenous take long.
The indigenous take long now, want to take the shortest period of time. Look at the chicken we eat these days. They will tell you within after 6 months or 3 months we are ready to feed.
Exactly.
So, and those days you could rear a hen home for a period of time where it has time to form its own amino acids, to form the proteins, and they're ready to be fed by a human being. Now we want to shorten everything, and this is where the danger comes from. As we want to shorten everything, we have now to involve chemistry now. We need to involve the acaricides. We need to involve all other things to make sure, one, we are not bothered by the insects and the herbs. We are not bothered by the nematodes. We have to produce the things in a faster rate and in a way that man can benefit. But in doing this, we are doing dangers to a human being. A lot of dangers. This is why those days we used to ask ourselves, many people come to the hospital and ask me, doctor, sinusitis, we used to see sinusitis in movies. It wasn't an African disease. Doctor, cancer is something you could hear in a village and you wonder, what did this person do to get a cancer? Today cancer is everywhere. What is happening? What have we done that has resulted into this? Agrochemicals also go into procession. When we have a good food, then we want to keep it for long. We take it to the facility. We want to process, refrigerate, all that. This is doing harm to our body.
And it's shortening our lifespan.
Our lifespan is getting shortened. Our cells are not used to this particular kind of life. They are multiplying at a particular rate. They are getting adoptions which we don't need. So we are also having diseases evolving that never existed.
Because the West use these things, but they have such a good healthcare system.
Yes.
Which really aids their longevity. But us, we are beginning to borrow these things, yet to have a poor health system which is still struggling to tackle these challenges or disease and everything. So I think that's where the great threat happens.
Do you know what challenges me most? These people sell the pesticides to us and they say we are not going to allow certain plants or certain of your agro production to come into our country because it does not qualify to a certain level. Yet they sell us the endangering side effects, but they cannot allow us to sell to them. I think I've had something like that.
Yes.
That before you send eggs to us, they need to be taken to the lab, tested, and then they can be brought to us. If they cannot, they can. But it's them that's selling to us.
If it doesn't pass the test,
it cannot be sold to them. So we need to be very wise here. And where it is really, really very hard, and where people should understand, is that we have accumulation of toxins as we move up the ecosystem or the food chain. For example, when you grow your matoke at home and you're spraying all your tomatoes, you're going to maybe the grass that animals eat. I want us to begin from that level. The grass also these days we spray. We want it to grow well. We spray to see that it is fertilized well. The animals will come and feed it. So when the animals feed it, we have the accumulation of toxins from the grass now to the animals, where we are going to be milking to have milk every single day. So which means we are accumulating more toxin from a lower level of the food chain to the upper level where we are, that we feed both on meat and then we feed on grass or on these vegetables.
Doctor, maybe we are also running out of options because back in the day, I mean, our soil was still fresh, but now soil is becoming old as well. It needs to be rejuvenated, reinvigorized, that it may come back to that stage where it can, produce great yields. Maybe that's why people are importing or are optioning for these fertilizers or these chemicals.
I'll speak specifically for my country, Uganda, or in Africa. There would be better options, but we are not putting our insight into this matter because there are countries which will not accept to use certain kind of things in their countries to produce their food. For example, there was an argument about DDT some time ago.
Yes, in 2006.
2006,
Rwanda South Member of Parliament, Ken Ruchams, protested that.
We cannot use, but there are countries that are saying we should not use DDT, and we cannot import anything which comes from countries where they're using DDT.
Yeah.
If one man could not come up to realize that, hey, this is not biodegradable, we cannot use it, it would be being used everywhere for prevention of mosquitoes, but it is doing a better harm into the ecosystem. So there are better systems, but because this agribusiness is a multi-billion-dollar business, there is someone making money in there who doesn't matter what are the outcomes are going to be. They just sell onto the market.
Exactly. I've been seeing business selling, making something like billions, $13 billion annually in insecticides, selling them. And so it's really lucrative.
Will not look at your safety. It's just making business with you. But again, it will come to us now, the human beings. For example, I'm not sure the apple I ate today, what it was sprayed with when it was being cared for in the garden.
The papaya.
The papaya. I'm not sure how it was cared, because I'm not a farmer, I'm a doctor. I sit in a hospital. So everyone must take part in making everyone healthy.
But by the way, just to take you a little bit off, the way we clean those vegetables or those fruits, do we need or maybe like soap or everything? Because these things are sprayed with these chemicals, and you just get it from the garden. Some people wash, others don't. Just a mere washing, can it make it clean?
Now, when you look at the washing, when you look at washing, the normal soap that we use, we are using a base, and then we are using a compound. We are using a base. We are using a glycerol to make the soap. So what we need is the soap we are using here. The components in the soap is just to remove dirt, where we have a water-loving part and we have a water-hating part. So in doing that, soap is made to mainly just clear dirt out of a cloth.
How are we supposed to wash these fruits? Are we supposed just to go on hard water, put on the tap, and you're like, let me clean?
My idea would be we should only be keen starting from the way these plants are being farmed in a farm, because the soap may wash all with the normal water, may not remove the sulfur, may not be able to remove the nitrites, may not be able. Did you understand? So even when you use your normal soap, maybe you use your normal water to clean, these things already infested with
vinegar. Should we use vinegar? Should we use neem, citrus?
My idea would put most of our cautiousness on how we are planting this and how we are caring for it in the garden. Because when you come to washing, it may not be only okay. For example, there are those insects, there are those agrochemicals that are used when the plant is 2 months, is 3 months. This accumulation goes on even within the entire fruit itself. So by the time you feed it, it's already accumulated with these other toxins inside. So even if you wash on top, you are washing what was sprayed last during the harvesting. How about the time when it was being planted? So we have accumulation of toxins within the entire fruit. So even mere washing will not do us an advantage.
One of the vegetable I like, coriander, is one of my favorites that wouldn't miss on my sauce. But sometimes I look at this and I'm like, now how am I to wash this thing, honestly? Because I understand some of them have been sprayed with, because sometimes people use those chemicals.
They have to. Everything we're using today is sprayed. And if anyone tells you that I am using organic ways it's a very expensive fruit for you to consume, because it is safe, and this is where the world is going. That's why people that are producing safe things are going to become very, very expensive and rare. That's what I have to say. So as we opt to live a healthy life, it will begin with our very systems which are taking care of what we are going to feed. But people don't care. The government may not care. People, whatever is coming, people are bribed to bring in whatever. That means that
there has to be regulations.
There has to come with regulations. Many regulations. But your washing is too late. It's too late. These things already been accumulated with a lot of toxins. It is already toxic. That's why many diseases are rising today. You find a 2-year-old with diabetes. Those days was something very, very rare.
You talked about sinuses. I mean, these are in what These are some of the things we rarely had back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, people allergies.
The allergies. We never had allergies. So if someone told you had an allergy, by the time we were very young, you'd think these people are proud. And these are mainly people who lived in the Western world. It's when they come here and they told us, I have sinusitis.
Yes.
You wonder, what is sinusitis?
I used to hear allergies in the West. And I'm like, an allergy refuse someone to work or to...
And you even wonder, how is this even possible?
It was really...
It was an
out
alarm.
of our knowledge, yeah.
Look at the level at which diabetes has increased that hypertension. You must get worried. We're having a lot of rising of diabetes. The kidney failures. A kidney failure, someone to learn that someone had a kidney issue was a mystery. You would even wonder, how did this person damage their kidneys? But today, everyone is on the verge of getting this kind of reason. Why? Because of what we are putting in our body, what we consume. The body, one, cannot break it down. We are having such heavy metals that we are using as pesticides, as acaricides. So we are putting them in our bodies, and our body cannot degrade them. Our body cannot break them down. And in doing that, it is harming itself as we break them down. So this is where the main problem is, and where we are having a lot of issues happening into our bodies. And this is what I really advise people that want to live a healthy life, especially this energy at a time where we use a lot of carbonated fluid, juice, a lot of carbonated soda. We are using a lot of refrigerated stuff. We are using a lot of canned stuff. Meat now is canned.
Energy drinks.
Energy drinks. Certain friend of mine told me people can rear chicken for 1 month, and then there is a kind of...
Because it's a money venture. People are like, broilers mangu.
Even after they harvest it, they're having some things they are injecting.
Yes.
So that it bulges. Exactly. So whatever we are eating is not safe for us. It's not safe for us. So what I always advise is detoxification must be part of every person every single day.
Now someone may ask, Dr. Kapanda, how do I detoxify?
There are so many things we can use to detoxify, which we have in our normal life. Okay. One, ginger. Ginger is very, very good detoxifier. It's also anti-inflammatory in tangawuzi. If someone has joint pain, people with sinusitis, you can just have ginger for you.
Seriously?
Yes. You may not, you don't have to be having PUD, ulcers, because it may react with the ulcers and make it worse. But if you don't have ulcers, ginger is something very, very good. Turmeric will be something very good.
Turmeric imposi chechinzali chigana.
Yeah. Then we have also garlic is good. Okay. Garlic, you can crush garlic and drink it, make it part of you. Then we have avocado. Avocado is also a very good detoxifier that someone can use. Beetroot is good. Someone can involve with beetroot in their diet. So if you want to live a healthy life, I want you to go completely organic.
Wow. Dr. Kabanda is still in the house, and we're talking about the dangers of agrochemicals on human health. We're taking a break. When we come back, we're diving deep on how can we continue to avoid what we call agrochemicals on our fruit. And
Focus on Healthy Morning. Bethany TV for health. Exciting news for all viewers of Bethany TV. Bethany TV, the premier health TV channel in Uganda and Africa, and also your favorite TV station, is now on Star Times. You can now watch Bethany TV day and night, weekdays and weekends on Star Times, channel 271. Catch your favorite programs on health, wellness, entertainment, and so much more. Bethany TV is also available on free-to-air, GoTV, YoTV, Airtel TV, and Afro mobile apps. Not forgetting online via our website www.bethanytv.ug and social media platforms at Bethany TV UG. Bethany TV for health. Showing on Bethany TV.
Conscious found face down in the mud.
On my count, 1, 2, 3.
Hypoxic on scene with improved recessioning.
Son of a bitch! What? You killed Drew!
I'm gonna read you those vows that I still have to write.
I love you.
Share my crackers.
I don't like crackers.
Well, what do you like? We'll order it up.
Don't understand how this happened. I mean, I was just trying not to poison my kids.
Code Black every Thursday and Friday at 9 to 10 p.m. with repeats Mondays and Fridays 11 to midday. Are you looking for a platform to advertise your business and boost your sales? Bethany TV got you covered. Take advantage of our introductory rates and maximize your leverage for brand awareness, advertising, product launching, live coverages, activations, and so much more. For booking and more information, contact our sales team on 0785 576 269. Bethany TV for health. Every day at lunchtime, we bring you back-to-back inspirational music videos. You request your favorite gospel music video and we play it on the playlist. To request, go to our socials, Facebook, Bethany TV UG, and Twitter at Bethany TV. Like and follow, then type the name of the song in the comment section of the playlist post of the day by
Health Minutes on Bethany TV.
The postpartum period is the time after having a baby.
There's a period that follows childbirth, basically. Medically, we put it around the first 6 weeks.
Some women get the baby blues or feel sad, worried, and tired within a few days of giving birth. Here are a few tips to help you navigate the postpartum period. Drink enough water.
You'll be surprised what good hydration, or at least 2 or 3 liters of fluid, can do for you in a day in terms of improving how you feel within your body and improving your mood.
Sun exposure in the morning hours.
We always recommend that mothers go out and walk and experience good sunshine. One is it helps in vitamin D, which is a very important component of breast milk for your baby, but also sunshine will elevate your mood.
Have a social support system.
It is difficult enough to have a baby. It is even more difficult when you do it by yourself. So we advise mothers to surround themselves with loving people, helpful people, who will help them both in looking after their babies and also looking after them as they look after their babies.
Better healthcare for a better tomorrow. That was the Health Minute.
Bethany TV for health. Focus. Focus on healthy morning.
Building hospitals is not a bad venture. It is really, really, really amazing because it's drastically changing the lives of very, very many people. But how about if we emphasize building agriculture? Our dream has always been that we hope tomorrow our hospitals, our pharmacies would be in vegetable stores or gardens as opposed to being in pharmacies and hospitals. So it's a dream because once we treat the body using our food, we even may not need even hospitals. Because what we eat becomes medicine as opposed to medicine becoming food. Because when medicine becomes food, it is posing a great impact. Before you know it, kidneys are failing, body organs are failing, everything is becoming a mess. Today we're tackling the impact of agrochemicals on human health. Dr. Kabanda is in the house and we dissecting this deeper and deeper. Yes, doctor. When we took a break, we talked more of that because agriculture is really important, especially Uganda being having 51% of Arab land in East Africa. So you would think agriculture would be the remedy. Back in the day, we would see men, strong men, riding a bicycle for 20 kilometers, a man is 60 years old and he's not getting tired. He's just continuing to mount, strength and wings, and you're like, wow. But today, young men are failing. You look at a young man who is 30, he's looking like a 60-year-old, and you're like, what is happening? Yeah, so we're still diving into it.
I would prefer that instead of putting more attention in importing more drugs in the country, would put more attention on the agriculture, because all these diseases have an origin in there. So if we put more attention on investigating what are we feeding with the people, other than saying everything can come in and people can plant the way we want, and many of us are not giving attention to what we eat and how it is produced and how it comes to the table. What is happening in the factories? Let me say something. There is a gentleman that asked me one time. There is a company I will not mention. They have a juice they produce which says it is made of oranges, it is made of mango, but you don't see mangoes getting in that facility. So which means it is just chemical that people are feeding. What they have is a taste of a mango added, or a flavor of a mango, food colors, but you don't see mangoes getting in there. What you see are chemicals being imported in and being put there.
And the thing is saturated on the market.
And we are feeding this every single day, and no one is worried. No one is worried what we are feeding in there, and this is all still agro business. All the things, because we would say if someone is saying he's producing a juice from a fruit, we need to see a mango plantation somewhere. If someone was doing mango business, we would see them send cars to their facilities. But we don't see mangoes getting there, but we see mango juice getting out. We see pineapple juice getting out. We see it's juice getting out, but we're not sure where these mangoes are coming from. So we are feeding chemical. They have just made the things chemical and fed to us.
What is happening in schools nowadays is that kids are returning to school. We just bombard these supermarkets, get these, fizzy
whatever
drinks,
is there,
these quenchers and everything. We don't know what we're feeding our children. And before you know it, their immunity is emaciating slowly. They cannot be resistant as they used to be. Before you know it, they are breaking down. They're suffering from infections. They have sinuses. I mean, to sit and deserve a
That's how myopic we are, because we think if you get allergies, if you have cancers, then you're rich. If I have a very big berry, which means I'm a rich man, so I have a lot of money. Yes, I have a lot of exposure to disease in there. Now, in my understanding and how I've dealt with people, I realize people are very negligent about their health. That even when you advise people on treatment to do certain things as they are on treatment, they will make sure they don't follow what has to be done. So this shows how people are negligent. Now, how are you sure that people will mind what they eat and when they eat and how they eat it? I'm of a view that I'm not going to buy vegetables again on the market. I'll have my small garden. Have my small garden where I can have my cabbage made, where I can have my tomatoes made. Let me reduce the exposure to what other people feed to me by what I can offer for myself.
Because you don't need a big chunk of land to do this. You can plant them in baskets. You can use plastics there on your veranda too. Really.
Yes, and I can have my feeding. Otherwise, in years to come, to be very hard for someone to make to 50 years, as I was telling you. And if someone made it to 50 years, so you look like someone of 100 years of those days. Why? Because we are breaking our body every single day. Now, something awkward was told that in restaurant people add paracetamol into beans to make sure that the boiling point reduces so that the beans can get cooked quickly. And when you look at paracetamol and how dangerous it is to even our body when you consume it, how long the body will take to break it down of the body. Now, every single day if you're eating beans somewhere, they are giving you paracetamol well cooked, boiled, which means the chemical change, the soup you're taking is changed. The beans you're taking are changed.
You know, when you talk about paracetamol, doctor, I wanted to do my own research. Now, there is this paracetamol I received from Europe. Now, you see, when we are ironing clothes, our flat irons normally get messed up with dirt. So they told us that you can get paracetamol and you clean it up. But this paracetamol I got from Europe, up to now, it really mind boggles. Because when I got the flat iron and I got smeared with this paracetamol trying to remove the residue, which is dry, this paracetamol was like super glue when it is dried. You can't break it. And I'm like, but what is in this paracetamol? I'm going to get those tablets. There could be something, but these are fast healing, the fast pain remover
that we always use.
Instant.
Fast,
yes. The moment you take them, and we're like, wow, I think this is what works a big deal. So, natoli amakene ndagano nengamba. Kiki ekigakalubya bwe gati kubanga amakene nage tukozesa bwokwata amakene noyisa ku paasi bivaako naye gana amakene we gakala nga bolaba super glue nga akazi nga nakozesa akagoye ngamba kiki kyetumira kino what are we putting in our bodies so something must be done.
We are exposed to a lot of chemical, and this is where all disease originates from. Now, when I spoke about the agribusiness being a multi-billion-dollar business, now when I talk about the pharmaceutical business, now it's $1 trillion business. And there are some drugs that are only sold to Africa. Now, this thing should beat every person's mind. Why are there some drugs only consumed in Uganda cannot be consumed outside? And these drugs are imported sometimes, but they cannot be consumed anywhere in the world, but only consumed for the African market. We need to be smart and wise to know that there are some people that are strictly in business.
Waliwo akokunywa kali mu kacupa kenkana bwe kati nakamanya ku bantu bana ba Nigeria naye nga kukadagala ako kacupa ako kaliko nti eddagala lino akokunywa kano tekakkirizibwa kukozesebwa mu Uganda naye ate nga kaliko nti bakakolera wano naye nga Abanigeria bakagala nnyo abaana b'amasomero bennalaba ku university nga bwakanywa yeebaka essaawa nga 15 nga tazengulu kati kabakuba ne bavaako kali mu kakebe ka black we kati brown dark brown nakamba but what is this honestly olinga n'obwomuyita nga yaguddewo taddangulu so ebintu ebyo biyongedde nnyo katale kaffe ate nga ab'ebuyinza tebabiregulatinze okumanya nti kino kiki ekyeyongedde katale tukoze tutyo kijjako.
They cannot regulate it because, as I told you, it's a very rich fraternity where our people will need to make money. We don't have people who are patriots about health, but if they make money, they can be taken to India. They can go somewhere else for treatment. They cannot be here, so they will not care for someone else.
So,
but
Doctor, again, amaso mu kamera ngoyogera Oluganda, audience yaffe y'Oluganda.
Gwe ng'omuntu ng'oli eyo olina okwegendereza ennyo engeri gy'obeezaawo obulamu bwo nga tofuddeeyo ku kimu gavumenti kyesobola kukuwa oba ani kyasobola kukuwa naye ng'ofubayo okufuba okulaba nti okuma obulamu bwo obulungi mu bintu ebyo ebitonotono ku lw'ensonga nti bw'olwala ojja kulwala wekka obonebone ne ssente zo wekka obeerewo akaseera akatini olwala endwadde zino enzibu okuwona kansa olwala ebisinuses ofune rheumatoid arthritis ofune osteoporosis atategerekeka tulwala endwadde ezitategerekeka naye ate nga singa oba ofuddeyo ku ngeri y'okutambuza obulamu bwo osobola okubeera very healthy bino byengezaako okuwa amagezi eri abantu ekisooka byonna okola physical exercise kintu kimu okudetoxifying omubiri okujja omutwa mu mubiri n'okuyambako kidney okuperforming obulungi n'okuyambako liver okuperforming obulungi kubanga amaanyi gaffe galina nnyo okubeera mu kibumba n'ensigo kubanga ekibumba n'ensigo bye bigenda okutuyambako okumenyaamenya obutwa ate tubufulumya okuva mu buki mubiri kyovula omuntu kasalwala ebintu bino omubiri gwe gutandika okunafuira ddala lwaki bye bitukuuma nga bimenyaamenya obutwa buno okuva mu mubiri gwaffe kyova era ngezaako okugamba tulye nnyo ebintu ebigenda okuyamba ekibumba kyaffe n'ensigo zaffe tusobole okumenyaamenya obutwa buno bwe tuba tulidde okuva mu tulidde kino sijja kukimenyamu buli kintu kye tulya ensangi zino kijja n'obutwa kubanga engeri gye tulimamu emmere yaffe engeri gye tutegekamu emmere yaffe okugirya yonna eteekeddwa mu mbeera nti tweyongera okweyongera obutwa mu mibiri gyaffe.
Omuntu agula omugaati n'agutereka mu fridge negumalamu ewiiki bbiri kati nze waliwo ekintu kimu ekyanneewuunyisa waliwo ekika ky'amata ekimu kyesitanywa nakigulako ne kinneewuunyisa nagagula nenywako amata agamu nendekawo payinta so nesitakifaako okumala ennaku nga mmeka nenkomawo nga amata ago gakyali malamu mugamba
bino onenga yoga kachali malamu nayiga n'amata gamaze ennaku mmeka ffe twabeeranga n'amata nga n'okugafumira obufumizi mu sefuliya enkyafu gafa ogasembereza obusemezi wali omunnyo gafa amata we gayingiranga ewaka kyabanga ekintu kye tulina naye amata g'ennaku zino gakwewuunyisa ne weewuunya nti ente zino zanjawulomu kati oba waliwo kye bakola amata gano ge tunywa naye ate ng'ojja kwewuunya nti abantu bakonsuminga amata buli lunaku. Omuntu omu yaŋŋamba nti amata ago bakateekamu formalin ddagala eyo tulikozesa nga tuli mu kuyamba omuntu waba afudde bamukuma formalin omubiri guno okukala obulungi azikibwa leme okuwunyirira abantu so formalin eyo omuteeke wantu enswera tezisobola kugwako okuvunda tekusoboka. Omuntu omu naŋŋamba nti ennaku zino abantu abaleeta amata e Kampala bayiga nti newoogenda kati ku gundi y'amata tojja kusangawo nswera n'etya goyinza okulowooza obuyonjo obungi nnyo naye balina kye bakozeseza ekitanyisa okuliperinga enswera zino okuvaawo ate nga zandibadde natural indicators but they are eliminated nga tosobola kuyisa n'ogenda ku lufula y'ente twasanga nga wabeerangawo enswera katukyasangawo bafuna kavamalimi kaabwe ne bakateekamu ne bakaredusinga mu percentage ne bafuuyira ku nnyama eyo okulaba nti ennyama enswera tezikola ki tezireka bande bano bayonjo nnyo tewaliwo nswera naye omudaala gwoli guliko enswera omudaala gwoli teguliko nswera bagukuuma bulungi kavamalimi kaffe ketukola ki kwesa n'ofuna ennyama erimu vomalini n'ogendeka n'ofumba naye jjukira ente eno babadde ng'era bagikuba eddagala eringa ekula ebadde era ebeerawo ku ddagala n'amata galo ge badde bakama nago gazzenga amalwadde kubanga twagala okwewala okufuna endwadde buli kimu kye tuyingiza mu mubiri gw'omuntu ensangi muno kizibu nnyo okufuna ekintu ekiri safe
kyovula tulina okulwana okujja obutwa mu mubiri
okujja obutwa mu mubiri mbadde mpa ebintu ebimu biyambako okujja obutwa mu mubiri ne ŋŋamba nti katungulu kyumu mulungi nnyo mukwate musekule muteeke mu mazzi onywe oba okumulya omubisi ogwosobola agoocha akola nnyo mugoocha n'oteekamu n'osooka omulekamu ebbanga nomala n'onywa ayamba okutesifayinga omubiri ogwo kyovala abasajja bano Abasomaliya baamutegeera bamulya nnyo gai baana abasajja bawunya katungulu kyumu baategeera it is part of them ne tugamba tamalik oba ekinzaali kintu kirungi nnyo beetroot mulungi nnyo okutisifayinga omubiri avocado mulungi nnyo okutisifayinga omubiri bino bintu omuntu byandibadde nabyo mu fridge nga okolamu kijuice nokiblendinga nokinywa noyina nakyo ku mulimu biza okuba nga tebiwooma but ku lw'obulamu byo tugezeeko okujja obutwa mu mubiri twekuume nga tuli balamu.
Oyogedde ku kukola ku dduyiro kudduka
okola exercise kintu kirungi nnyo kubanga kiyambako immune system yaffe kiyambako emibiri gyaffe okola obulungi n'okufulumya obukyafu okuva mu mubiri
obutatuula nnyo abantu abakola emirimu egy'okutuula emirimu gyakuvuga mu motoka avuga olugendo okuva wano n'agendanga ku booda ya Uganda ne Rwanda
nakikola okumala emyaka 5 tatuyanangako takalangako exercise so kikuyambako obutwa mu mubiri omuntu kyo kitagana otuyana lwaki maso zino nezikola nezisobola okujjamu obutwa nezibeera active ebisinza okuleeta diabetes bantu kubeera inactive emirimu gye edda twabekeranga mu nnimiro ng'omubiri gukola ki gukola
kati 12 nga bali ku lulimbi
balima olweggulo ebintu gyabanga gy'amaanyi kukima amazzi biki kati buli kamu kakusanga wookola ki woli kati nga gwo ku mulimu gwo oba toli mugezi kuba ndaba muyina fitness program gye muyina wano singa oba tofuddeyo okwegendereza mu ekyo okedde ku TV show ogimaze ogenze kwakoba ku mulimu gw'omulala gwakutula tono gwakalakalukana ojja kikola emyaka 6 ojja kufuna kye bayita insulin resistance n'obubiri gwo ne producinga insulin yamala tetugenda kusobola ku regulatinga glucose mu mubiri so with the time you'll be diabetic ate nga tetujja kusobola kukuyamba ku diabetes ojja kubeera ne diabetes for a really long period of time. However much in a program ez'enjawulo ng'omuntu asobola okubeera ne diabetes n'ayambwa n'aba ng'abeera with diabetes naye nga tafunye complications because complications of diabetes are the hardest things but omuntu n'oyiga okubeerawo in that healthy way ne tutuyambako to live long n'obutaspendinga sente nyingi ku bulamu bwaffe
kubanga era baatugambako nti ekimu kukitwala ennyo essente bekiro kisobola okuwavuwaza omuntu
obulwadde bukuwavuwaza n'otunda ettaka lyo n'otunda ente ezo nobakugoba ne ku mulimu n'otunda woosula kubanga oyagala okulagula obuki obulamu naye nga walina kali akaseera kawandibadde okuuma obulamu bwo yesebo
okay Dr. Kigeza nti singa tusanye esiira ku kuziyiza ebisobola okuleeta obuzibu kisobola nnyo okutuyamba
kyekisinga naye kitwala discipline because
okwefiiriza
kitwala
okweteekamu empisa eyo
nnyo nga wokiwulira okumanya nti sijja kulya sugary foods, sijja kulya carbonated fruits, sijja kulya organic sugar zino kambi ejje mu bulamu bwange mbeere healthy. Kitwala a lot of discipline ate nga abantu abasinga discipline we basuukako nga bagamba fena tuli bakufa fena nyinza okwekuuma ne bekulala sukaali nefa accident.
Enjogera eyo nnyingi naye ate bw'omulaba nga atuuse ku njegoyego banaye munyambe
ate neejusa nagali singa nategeera musawo kuba olw'endwadde ez'olwala ng'ojja kubeera ku ddagala ebbanga eggwanvu nga buli wiiki ospendingako
baatugamba nti kasooka okufuna obulwadde bwa sukaali ne
ojja kubeera woomira eddagala buli lunaku ojja kuwoomira eddagala
kasooka kasizibwa nti obufunye sukaali
omuyina oyina pressure yo oyina cancer wo oyina walokati ndwadde ezimu oyina arthritis wo amagumba gatandisa okuluma onayisa wa wiiki emu ojja kuddayo
ennaku zino amagumba galuma n'abantu abato mu myaka
kyekiri kye twatandikiddeko what agribusiness and what we put in our body changes them to what we shall get.
Ebintu ebyo birina engeri gye bikosaamu n'amagumba
nnyo kubanga amagumba gafiidinga kuva ku mmere gye tulya amagumba nawo geetaaga okuliikirizibwa getaaga galina part ya organic ne part ya inorganic gafuna batya inorganic part ne organic part okuva ku byetukola ki bwe tubanga betulya bi compromise tegeeza tugenda zimba amagumba amayabayaba betugenda tuteeka amagumba bigenda ba amayabayaba ebigenda kuba mu joint bigenda kuba biyabayaba tutandika okufuna endwadde ennyingi arthritis arthritis knee pain back pain n'abaana abato with all this
omanyi arthritis endwadde z'amagumba ezo arthritis twabiwulyanga nnyo mu bazungu abantu bano baalinga bagumu naye endwadde z'amavivi ennyingo eziruma omugongo ensingo ensingo eyo batugamba nti tuba tugyebakidde bwebakizi.
We shall have another show nzije njogere ku the spine because abantu bangi nnyo baspendinga sente nyingi nnyo ku ndwadde z'emigongo n'amagulu and oyinza okulaba ng'obulwadde obutatta but the frustration which comes with the back pain is stressful to your body. I'll explain that one time. And once it is stressing you, you're going to break down. You will break down.
Omanyi nafunako ko obuzibu n'omugongo olwo bwe nakakasa kubinnumyeko nti teri kintu kiruma kwenkana mugongo. First of all nga tebalaba bulumi naye I was just walking out because nakola bubi nenkosa ebinywa doctor nga sobola nakugira mukono bwenti nga mpulira obulumi kakati ngamba okukyuka ngamba omugongo nga guluma.
Kati imagine if someone has arthritis at 40 years and has to go up to 60 years. If they are not rich, they must live on drugs and supplementation every single day for the rest of their lives. They are empowering the kidney and the liver. So any disease that comes to a human being, it is exposing you to a lot of danger. It will be good if you can prevent yourself. Discipline. I talk about discipline. I have so many diabetic patients, you advise them, they fail on discipline. I have so many hypertensive patients, you advise them, they fail on discipline. Newo obanga weekuumye n'oteekako obulumi obwo osobola okubeerawo ng'oli mulamu bulungi notafuna buzibu n'owangaala akadde ate nga toyinoneddeeko ssente nyingi. Yes,
Doctor, twogedde ebintu bingi era omugaso gwa programu eno kuwa abantu magezi engeri gye basobola okwewalamu engeri gye basobola okuyamba obulamu bwabwe. Omuntu ebintu bino wammanga byogeddeko tusigaze eddakiika ziringa 2-3 alina okwewala okulwala. Twogedde ku byetulina okulya ne twogera ku kukola dduyiro. Waliwo omuntu nga talina waakolera dduyiro kakati ng'ayina waakolera kizimbe kiriko fulo 65 bali mu akeedi eyo mwe bakolera kubanga emirimu gyabwe gyakutuula asobola ki okuyambibwa?
Ekisooka byonna kyenjagala okusooka okuwabulamu okubanga omuntu abasinga bajja mu ddwaliro naga naye nze dokita olaba nga bw'oyogedde ekizimbe ekyankoleramu nyambuka nnyo amadaala eyo exercise omubiri gwe gutukesa ne gumanyiira kyetuli exercise nina okustressing omubiri gwange gutuyane kyova olaba ne woba ogenda mu gym ng'obadde ositula weights 100 tosobola oba 10 tosobola zisitulira bulamu bwo wonna omubiri gwe gujja tukisegera gwa adopting 10 kgs ogende ku 20 ogende ku 30 kgs so there's always that stress omubiri gwaffe tulina good stressing doing exercise gutuyana okufunamu
gukaluubirizeemu
teri muntu atalina space ekola exercise tekisoboka because even here someone can do exercise
n'oba olina nnyumba yo nga ekisenge kiri 10
newemba nsula mu single room nina space okola exercises
wakiri sibuuka
bwe nsobola okubuuka omugwa bwenkera nkwakya nekuba press ups 80 bwenkera kumacha stretching does more exercise but era abantu bajimu bajja kugamba the gym instructors if I can stretch all exercises gyokola olubuto ndukole nkole omugongo just in the shortest space and I will sweat and I will feel good and I will sleep so it is not a reasoning ogamba nasoka kudduka byalo era twasinga banga neze nti abantu okunda bano no wobanga oyina eddiiro lyo likumala
osobola n'okusako TV yo
TV yo no kati no kole aerobics obulungi and you get tired it is discipline and once you put your mind on it you achieve it and you'll be healthy
tugambe nti dduyiro ono omuntu alina okutuyana so si kukola bukozi nga totuyanye
netta you must sweat it must be something daily tosobola kukola exercise n'otatuyana it is impossible you will sweat sometimes oyinza obuta sweating kulaba nti into but you may have that layer which comes on the skin and the pores will open up to show that the pores are opened up and someone has exercised and their muscles have been activated and they are active. Yes, so someone must exercise. So exercise, a person must exercise at least 3 days in a week. 3 days in a week is okay. So twice dakika 3 ku 15.
Ze dakika 12.
So a week, yes. Kera ku Monday loga nti ku machankedde we have these appliances zetugula omuguwa nokera nobuka omuguwa go oba nodduka munju nga notekako aerobic screen twina screens awaka downloading a video ko katekeko dance jump after 30 minutes you've done exercising bathe go to work
bana banafa beru kye batusinga bo balina okukola
no batusinga discipline they are disciplined and the Chinese are more disciplined ngezako nnyo genda mu hotels z'aba China n'olaba engeri gye bakuwa buli detoxifier bwabwe. Have you been to hotels, Chinese hotels? Balina buchayi bwabwe batera okukulekera tebuwooma tebitegeeka biringa nga bihabuhabu ke basooka okuwoonye bakulekera ebivavava because for them detoxification is part of them. Every day banywa buchayi bwabwe obwo ne green tea byabwe. Every time they are on green tea because they have known what life is like. So tulina okufuba ennyo okulaba nti we adopt a very disciplined life. What omusajja gwemanyi yajja ku hospital
mu second ya bidi doctor.
Yes, he's around 100 is 98 is approaching to 100 years. When you look at this man you can't believe. I asked him one time, how have you made it? He told me there's one thing I know. I love my health and I'm disciplined, and that's how he has kept it. Let's be disciplined, we can be healthy.
I love my health and I'm disciplined. Let's be disciplined and we'll live healthy. Dr. Matia Kabanda there. Mwebale kutulaba linnya lyange nze Kintu Mutesaasira senior wekyo bwe tubadde okutuusa nga tuzzeemu olunaku lw'enkya kifo kye kimu weekuume beera n'empisa ya ngeri gy'otambuza obulamu bwera.
Focus on healthy morning.